Simple living can mean so many different things to different people. It is intentionally living your life and either excluding some things that you think make your life more complicated or adding things to your life that make them more stress free. So I hope you enjoy this video. I'm going to share with you some of the things I've done to simplify my life, and I hope you will stick around. Hi, I'm Bonita and I am early retired. I'm not old enough yet for Social Security. I'm living on a low income and I am living off of savings. I live in Kansas on a farm and I have a donkey. This is Brownie. I have frugal videos all year round, and I hope that you will join me this year as we share ways to save money and live our dreams. Simple living can sometimes be coupled with frugal living. And in my case, that is how it is. I do a lot of things simply because I want to do them in a frugal manner so that I have money for other things. But I also enjoy the simple life because it brings me freedom, relaxation, and peace. And many people will do simple living, but they do it in different categories or in different ways to make their life more comfortable in some manner. One of the ways that people simplify their life is by decluttering their home. I've been working on this for several years. I was working on it even before I retired, and I still have goals to declutter more. It helps your peace, your relaxation in your own home. It helps you to not feel like you need to be up doing something all of the time because you see things that are left undone or are cluttered. Sometimes we don't even realize how much that environment stresses us out. And we know that we're stressed, but we don't know why. And that can do it. Just extra stuff in your house can do it. So as I declutter, I either donate, I give it away to family or friends, or I sell it if I feel like it has a worth. When I go down to Texas in the winter, they have a swap shop at the 55 and over community. I take some of my clothes down there that don't fit anymore or have a resale value and I haven't been able to sell them, and I swap them out for things that I can wear. That way I don't have to spend extra money on having a few new things. In fact, this shirt here came from the swap shop. Choosing to display things that we love or things that maybe are so precious that we have tucked them away and forgot they were even there can make our home environment so much more comfortable. So I encourage you to look around today. What do you have displayed that you just don't love? What do you have sitting out that is just maybe something that you think, man, I need to get rid of that. I'm tired of looking at it. And choose something else to put out that will make your day more happy. The second way that you can simplify your life is by prioritizing your activities and your time. Start working in some of those things that you love to do. If you love to read, start working into your schedule times that you can read. Start working in times that you can do the things that you love. And then start saying no to some of the commitments or obligations that you feel you have to do, but you really dread and you don't want to do. It is important to work those happy things that we love into our routines so that we have things to look forward to, so that we have times that we can de-stress, and so that we have time to bring all of that joy into our hearts instead of all of that stress from the outside world. So look at your schedule. For me, it is making sure I go to my grandkids' ball games. I love doing that. It is making time to read. It's making time to do videos with you guys. It is making time to travel. It is making time to do home projects like learning to forage and doing some of those types of things that I've been sharing with you. I find those things fun. I find them interesting. I'm constantly in a state of learning, and that makes me feel good. Those activities make me feel good. So look at your schedule and see where you can work in some things that make you feel good. The third way that a lot of people simplify their life is by making time to connect with nature. Now, not everyone loves to be outside, but you can still connect with nature through opening your drapes, through enjoying weather that you enjoy, whether it is rain or sunshine. Some people, like me, love sitting in a sunbeam. That's my favorite place to be, whether I'm in the house or outside. But some people love the rain. My youngest son loves the rain. My daughter in law, she loves the rain. And when it's raining, they are at their most peaceful times. So, focusing on nature and enjoying maybe flowers or gardening or maybe the birds or the butterflies, it can bring us a peace that is hard to put our finger on in other areas of our life. I had a routine for many, many years that I would come home and immediately I would take a 4.5 mile walk. Yes, it cut into my evenings, but no matter how stressful my day was, it fixed everything. It just let all of that stress release. For some reason, walking out on those county roads, seeing the grass, the cows, watching the sun start to set, looking at the trees, all of that just made me feel like all of my problems were man made and that they really were not that big of a deal. This was what was real. Nature was real. The trees were real. The grass was real. And all of that was just man made problems. And I would focus on that every evening, and then I would be refreshed to come home to my family. The next way to simplify your life is to try to simplify your routines. This helps so much with stress and anxiety. And I've learned this so much since I retired early at the end of October of 23. My mornings used to be so rushed. I was one of those people, I would lay in bed until the last minute, get up, and then hurry like heck to get ready because I wanted to lay in bed till the last second that I possibly could. And that meant more to me than having a leisurely morning. Now I have leisurely mornings. I get up in the morning, I lay in bed just a little while longer, which has always been my way. And then I get up and I start my morning and I take a very easy morning. And that has made such a difference in my attitude and in my perspective, just relaxing some of those routines that used to cause me so much stress. So look at your routines and see if there is a way to relax or simplify them so that you don't feel so stressed. The next way is by mindfully spending. And remember, I said in the beginning of this video how frugal living and simple living can actually connect in different areas. And this is one of the areas that it connects. Mindful spending can simplify your life, not only on the items that you're bringing into your house, but also on the money that's going out of your house. Both of those things can cause us underlying stress, and we don't even realize it. Having too much stuff definitely can. We talked about that, but having not enough money absolutely can. And a lot of us have dealt with that. I was sitting outside watching my son's little birdhouses and their birds, and I watched this little bird fly in with all of this stuff to make a nest. And it made me think about mindful purchases because I looked at him and he just darted around on the fence carrying this in his mouth. And I told my husband, who had came for the weekend to visit, that's what happens when you go out shopping. You don't have a plan and you don't know where you're going to put what you brought home, because that's exactly what the little bird looked like. He had all of this in his mouth and he had nowhere to put it. The next way to simplify your life is to practice being thankful for what you have. A lot of you just recently watched my video where I talked about my income going down 34%. And I hope that none of you worried about me, because I wasn't worried about myself. I have savings. I have very low bills, which I manage very carefully. I still have the money I need to pay everything on time. And so when I have a drop in income like that, I focus on those things. I have food in the pantry. All my bills are paid. Yes, my income went down, but I'm still okay. I have money to fall back on if I need to. And I just reassure myself and be thankful for the things that I have and all of the things that are going right in my life. So, practicing gratitude really can decrease your stress when you focus on the things that you have instead of the things that you don't have. And then the last way I'm going to talk about today is intentional living. And we hear this catchphrase from a lot of people. But for me, intentional living means living my life aligned with the values that make sense and are important to me. That's why on this channel, you don't hear me trying to get you to buy a lot of things. I get people that ask me, what do you use for this or that? So I put those links in the description box, but I don't ask you to buy these things. And I don't ask you to buy things that I don't consider frugal. I live frugally. I'm very careful with my purchases. I think about them a long time before I buy them, before I spend my money. I make sure I really need it, that I really have a place for it, that it's really going to make sense for me. And I want that for you too. So I'm not going to be influenced by outside influences that tell me, try to promote this, try to promote that. As social media people, we get emails all the time trying to get us to promote things. But I'm a frugal channel. I'm a simple living channel. And I'm not going to push things on you that I don't believe in, or that I don't think make sense, or that are not affordable in my life. So that's one of the ways that I live intentionally, is I want my life to align with my beliefs. There are so many benefits to simplifying your life, reducing your stress, reducing your anxiety, increased time for meaningful activities, greater financial freedom by buying things that make sense for you, improved mental clarity where you can make decisions better. You're not just reacting, and you're not just like stress purchasing and doing some of the things we do when we're under too much stress. And you have an increased sense of fulfillment that comes along with living your life the way that you want to live your life. Now, I remember at one time I started doing some things that I thought was simple living. I started making this Amish bread. I loved it. My kids loved it, but it took over my life, right? I mean, it had starter bags. The starter bags, each time you made it, made like 7 more starter bags. I had loaves everywhere, loaves in the freezer. The kids were having to eat them for breakfast. They were eating them for after school snacks. It got to the point that I took all these starter bags to work with me and started giving them away. I met people at the park and gave them away. it just took over my life. So something that I thought was going to make my life more simple and easy by baking these homemade breads just got out of control. Now I'm down here dog sitting. If you're just joining me, I'm dog sitting in another part of Kansas for my son and daughter-in-law while they're on vacation. He has a sourdough starter that I'm responsible for keeping alive while I'm here. And I'm going to show you just a little clip of that. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because honestly, he does this every single week. They don't buy bread. And for me, this would complicate my life. Let me show you why. I'm working on my son's sourdough starter to make sure that it doesn't die while he's on vacation. And honestly, this is something I probably would not do at home. For one, my husband is gluten free. For two, this is about a 24-hour process with the starter. So last night I added 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of cold water, mixed it thoroughly, put it back in the fridge because I wasn't ready to deal with it today. I'm going to let it sit out for about 6 to 8 hours before I start the process that takes about 24 hours to make this. So those of you that make sourdough every week, he does. I congratulate you. This is a big undertaking and a lot of responsibility. Simple living definitely has its benefits, but as you can see from this video, you can tailor it to your needs, to your desires, to the way you want to live your life to get the biggest reward for taking this step. I hope all of you enjoyed this video today. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this little clip at the end of how I am living simply down here at my son's while I'm dog sitting.